Okay, guys, we're on number 4,363,942 on the apology list. Oh, God. How many days have we been in here, Aaron?
I haven't left since last Saturday.
Oh, God. Okay, next up is Ozzy Osbourne.
You can't offend Ozzy Osbourne. He's inoffensible.
No, he's offended we haven't talked about him.
Oh, well, we just did. So there's his apology.
Yeah.
There we go. See? We don't need any more details.
Problem solved.
After that, it's Amy Schumer.
No. Nope.
No, I refuse to apologize.
Nope.
Nope. We'll just skip that one.
Yep.
Okay.
She can stay offended.
Next up, everyone from the Me Too movement.
I think that's a bit of a heavy subject to be touching on for our light podcast here, V.
No, they're saying they want an apology from all the men that work here.
But that's just me and you.
I know. Moving on. Next up, before we begin, or whenever the intro cuts me off, it's Akira Toriyama.
I'll apologize to him. I don't know why. I just will. It's just because I love Dragon Ball.
I should probably apologize too. I was just critiquing his work this morning, actually.
Were you?
All comparing. Well, because my husband started watching the original dub, the Japanese dub on Dragon Ball.
Oh,
and he was talking about, like, there's a lot of things that the English don't even cover or even say in parts, and some scenes they decided not to even voice over. And I was watching one of the tournaments with him, and I was like, wow, this is so much better. How come we didn't watch the Japanese version before? And then I started thinking, like, I know, right? Nostalgia, childhood stuff, you know, all that kind of whatever.
Childhood ruin,
but otherwise,
yeah,
I was all thinking, Toriyama, why did you switch it to, like, outer space stuff after Dragon Ball? Like, it could have still been good if you just kept with, like, the weird little fantasy that you were going here. But nah. I guess we'll just go with outer space. But yeah.
I think that's where they're trying to redirect with the Broly movie that's coming out. Now that they're introducing Broly to canon.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that too.
It appears that some of the fights take place on Earth, so
yeah,
I think they're bringing it back.
2 fights on Earth and 1. Why are there so many people on this fucking list? Anyway, though, guys.
Some of them we haven't even offended yet.
True.
Stuck in my past, about to relapse. I keep running back to you.
But anyway, though, guys, welcome back to... Oh, wait, no, I can't do this because we've been trying to take turns over who does the introduction. So, we've done Aaron, we've done Sally, Shreves took over. So, Britt, it's your turn.
Oh, God. I don't even know where to start.
You just introduce and start up the show.
Okay. Alrighty. Hello everyone. Welcome to the wonderful podcast where apparently I am introducing. I am Brittopia, wonderful RPG streamer who's having a heck of a time not streaming. Anyway, yeah. So here I am. Woo! And further along the line of who's with us tonight, we have the wonderful host who is amazing, just overall amazing. I can't even describe the kind of words I can give to you people, is the Pyramid N, also known as V. Woo!
I thought they were talking about
Celebrate,
you,
yeah!
I'm doing a dance.
And and I would say, not last, but, and not least, I'm terrible at these, is, we have our great, someone who has taught me many things of, I believe it was the zombie movies, genre and stuff, fanatic, all that kind of stuff, is Aaron.
Hello.
Everyone. Woo! Ah, whoops.
Out of every single
Accidentally dropped
introduction that we've had from someone else that wasn't me, that was the most hilarious one. But But yes, everyone, welcome back to What Grinds Our Gears, where if you're hearing a bunch of stuff, it's because I've been trying to do some damage control. There was some flooding that happened in the state of Maryland, which means where I am, I've had to do damage control out the ass. So I apologize to all of you sensitive-eared motherfuckers out there. So, we are still on our trudge towards our second season finale through Monster Month, where we are discussing the legendary, the ugly underneath the bandages, because they're mostly corpses, the ever so mystical, and sometimes related to Osiris and Anubis' penis of the mummies.
Well, that was graphic.
I was
just got a picture.
trying not to say that, but I guess that was pretty graphic.
I just got the worst picture of an ancient Egyptian penis in my mind, and now I can't get it out.
I mean, that's how a lot of my god kids described when they first saw pictures of mine. It's like, it looks like a dog's penis. And I was like, well...
We're going down the wrong road here, B. This is not the Midnight Podcast.
Not yet, anyway.
Oh.
Anywho, yes, mummies. Where a lot of you guys can be like, did you get there talking about zombies in the previous podcast in season 2? First of all, shut the fuck up. And second of all, mummies are completely different because they kind of are older and a lot more complicated than fucking zombies.
Well, they are half different at least, because they're both dead. Well, undead.
Dead, undead, but they have way different circumstances behind them. Where the first actual mummy is the god Osiris. I wish I was kidding.
I wish I knew names, but yeah.
Osiris is a god, isn't he? The god of the underworld. He's the one that
he was originally more important than that, but his brother Set, not the actual villain of Egyptian mythology, he was having that whole inferiority complex to his brother, so he was just like, hey, you want to do a magic trick for me, bro? It's like, sure! Then he got into this thing of either a crate or a sarcophagus, whichever one, where inside the sarcophagus, Set decided to chop up in a tiny bit of pieces and then threw them all over the globe, and was just like, yes, now I'm king! Yes! Everyone listen to me! Yes! And so it was up to...
I love Arnold.
It was up to Osiris's wife and Set's wife. They both had wives. It's all good. They're all Egyptian gods. Everybody got married back then. To then find all the pieces of Osiris and then put them back together, except for one missing part, which is his sexual organs, which is what upset the wife a lot. But he came back as a mummy, missing his penis and his balls.
Oh, yummy.
So the only way he could ever exist is as the god of the underworld, with Anubis as his right-hand man, as the keeper of the dead, and being able to go all the way through the kingdom of the afterlife, which is basically just full of fucking snakes everywhere. Literally, look up Egyptian mythology, there are snakes everywhere. And,
Indiana Jones.
And basically just living it up with all the people that didn't have to suffer through snakes, just partying. That's
so you know what?
All he does.
You know what I just realized, V?
Yes.
Ancient mythology, and it doesn't even matter which one you go to, Vikings, Romans, Greeks, Egyptians, they were just ancient comic books for their teenagers.
True that.
Because think about it, what you're describing is basically Deadpool or Wolverine getting chopped up, finding his body parts, putting himself back together.
Only thing that was missing from the comic books was the penis.
Now they showed that in Deadpool.
They had a bulge in like every strip. How could you not draw that, you know?
But yes, that was the original first mummy from the original text before Pharaoh started just being sarcophagized in honor of Osiris, then going to the afterlife with all their jewels and riches in their pyramids.
By the way, before we go any further, how many of you have seen, is it Gods of Egypt? Is that what it was called? With Gerard Butler?
Remind me of that horrible, horrible nightmare.
Oh, come on. I loved that movie. It was a great storyteller.
They
and it told the
turned
story
most
that
of the gods
just
into
basically...
white
Any more
people.
movies, honestly.
They turned most of the gods into white people, Aaron.
Yes, I understand that, but I don't watch it because of the color of people's skin.
It's Egyptian mythology, Aaron.
I understand that. I get it. I gotcha.
Why would Horus, a hawk-headed god, be white?
Well, technically, he didn't have a hawk's head. He had a human head. He transformed into the hawk's head and then could fly. Anyways, that movie does basically a good job of telling the story of Horus and Set. The actual story that exists in ancient mythology for Egypt. Not saying that the movie was great because they cast white actors as, ancient Egyptians. But basically the story, because I actually looked it up after watching the movie, and the story kind of follows that line.
Minus the fact that Set isn't evil, he's just an asshole.
Well, yeah.
The only evil person is a cosmic snake that's trying to engulf it and eat the world.
Anyways.
But we'll get into that a different podcast. Anyway,
because my mind is going into a whole bunch of different directions with ancient Egypt right now about like how much of it's true, like Horus and Osiris and all the gods probably actually existed at one point as pharaohs before they started writing down their history.
Probably did, but that's what we're going to go back into. So thanks for the segue.
Woo!
So with that being the case, since pharaohs have been trying to enact their own unique resurrection type deal with Osiris by going to the afterlife, it's then become a lot of different myths and legends about how mummies then come back into coexistence with the living. Sometimes they come back with supernatural abilities of mysticism, sometimes just coming back with supernatural abilities of strength, speed, elemental manipulation, which is different than mystical because shut up. And then having that whole stuff of an Egyptian curse following their own revival in certain cases. However, like anything else, it becomes the giant debate of, is it just a ripoff of zombies, or are zombies a ripoff of mummies? And I gotta tell you guys this, who gives a shit?
Right, because quite frankly, I think they're both original.
Everybody had dead people. The Greeks had dead people. The fucking Mesopotamians had dead people.
It all goes back, all of this shit, and I shit you not, goes right back to religion. It all stemmed from religion, so it doesn't even matter. Every single religion has somebody that died and was resurrected, and every belief, mythological, pagan belief, polytheistic belief, that would be pagan, or monotheistic,
like Jesus.
They all have basically the same story. In monotheistic cases, it's one god, and then all of the other demigods or gods are just regular people in that version. So it all stems from religion. Zombies, vampires, mummies,
The
merfolk.
whole shebang-a-bang.
I was just thinking too with mummies. So we all know that mummies are basically just wrapped up, hollowed people, because the Egyptians used to take their organs and basically stuff it somewhere else
Into small little jars, yes.
Yeah.
Into
So
the
I'm
canopy
wondering.
jars.
I know, right? So I'm wondering, did they I know they did it for the pharaohs. Did they do that for common slaves?
No.
and folk
No.
too?
No,
The
they did
common
not.
So
folk,
what possibly happened to them? Their
common
body
folk
just
were
rotted in
just-
the ocean, or I guess it'd be the sea. But otherwise, what happens to them?
As
Well,
far as I can tell,
some
from
were put into a body pit to then just fester until they were just have their corpse set on fire. Others were just found drowned in the river, sometimes grown people, other times just small little children.
yeah, and it's hard to really calculate who got mummified and who did not, because so many of the ancient Egyptian people were slaves. I mean, so many.
Of slaves.
Basically, everybody that lived in the city was a slave. Depending on how much money you have, which is false. It's not how much money you have; it's how much influence you had.
Your status and influence, along with
As-
the five components of what makes up your soul,
That makes
And how
sense.
and how you were related to the pharaoh or the any royalty or noblism back in that time, those people got mummified. Although it was a cheaper version, they wouldn't always remove your organs. They'd just mummify you whole. Or in some cases, as they found, even before they started mummification, some of their early attempts at mummification they didn't even wrap them in bandages or take their organs out. They just buried a whole family in what was like, I don't know. They just discovered one this year. It was a box basically filled with this black goo, and they found bodies in it. You know, so there's earlier types of mummification before the canopic jars and removing the organs.
And
it was
then
like a
having
trial
the
and
beetles
error
just eat away at the top layer of flesh, then keep the rest of it preserved with bandages.
So, I mean, the canopic jar thing is yes, that's the most well-known and probably the most performed mummification, but that's a later version. They didn't just start out that way.
No, that took a lot of different people. Just like, you know what? When I want to be killed, you know what I want to do? 3 hawk face. What is it, Pharaoh? I want to get bandaged the fuck up after the beetles eat the top layer of flesh. Wait, what? And then bury me with my riches after you take out my organs. Pharaoh, you're kind of scaring me now. And then when it's all done, seal me up so I can come out as if I'm the son of the gods. Okay, now you're starting to really freak me out here, Pharaoh. Did you really smoke some opium again? I'm living my best life.
Oh, and by the way, so I gotta confer with Jenny on this one quickly. The guy that invented the lobotomy, wasn't he inspired by the way they took the brain out by ancient Egyptians? Through the nose, and then he modified it to go through the eye.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I remember the tools they had.
Yeah,
maybe actually, that actually sounds very interesting.
Probable.
It's like picking boogers.
They'd take a long spike and they'd shove it up the nasal passage, and then they'd hit it with a hammer until it cracked, and then they stuck a longer tool up in there and basically mashed your brains up.
And then...
I know.
Brain smoothie.
At least they were already dead.
Right, at least they were already dead. Well, that we know of.
Some of them, they wish...
I think some of them were alive.
Some of them, they wish they were dead.
Right. But I mean, even pharaohs. I think there were some pharaohs that reached an age where they just couldn't rule anymore, and they mummified them. They didn't kill them, they just mummified them.
It's like, okay, then, Pharaoh, it's time for you to go for your walk. I don't want to go for a walk. I want to leave the slaves. Yes, that's all nice and good. Lay down on this bed. Okay, why are you there?
Quick disclaimer here. I am not an ancient Egyptian historian, so I could be wrong on many of these things.
Oh, no. And you are, quite frankly, following up on all your notes properly, because even when I was in Egypt trying to find out all this stuff, it gets very gory and graphic how they kind of describe what they did to the still living pharaohs to make sure they did get mummified, because a lot of them tried to still protest with little energy that they had, and then they just went to town with the most cruelest methods of mummification to make sure they were preserved for later people to find them.
You know what?
It's just one of those things they don't want to put in the history books like everything else because it shows a dark history for their culture.
You know what kind of pisses me off, though? Like, I loved ancient Egyptian mythology and all of that because they discovered King Tut, you know, and it was a big deal. And he was by far the most extravagant of all of the mummies that had been found when it came to the colors and the gold and the things that they found on his sarcophagus and in his rooms.
Bling bling, motherfucker!
They just found so much, right? Instantly, like as a kid, he was my favorite pharaoh because he was the most complete. He had the most complete sarcophagus and tomb that was ever found or unearthed.
He died when he was young too. He was only like 21 or something, or even 15. No, he started to rule when he was 15, I think.
I think he was 12, and then I think he died.
Oh yeah.
19. He was real young. You're right. He wasn't
very young.
Imagine how that would feel for everyone. Just like, hey guys, guess what? We have a new ruler. Oh man, is he less cruel than the other ones? He's 12. We're screwed!
Oh fuck! But no, like it was just it. And I don't know what it did, but I was drawn to it and I loved it. And back in the '90s, because that's when I grew up, there was a whole mystery surrounding him. Why did he die so young? He was but a child basically when he was mummified, and he was thought of as one of the younger rulers because he was the youngest mummy found as a pharaoh, right?
Yeah.
And then there's this whole mystery as how he died, why he died, did he die in battle, blah blah blah. Nobody knew. It was just a mystery. And then there was the curse behind it as well, which made it famous and kind of, I think, fed back into the whole Brendan Fraser series of mummy movies
With Imhotep the priestess, see?
with Imhotep and the priestess. But the whole glamorous or glamorized, King Tut's tomb was cursed. People died because of King Tut, after they unearthed him. Only to come to find out, 2018, that he had clubbed feet, he buck teeth, he was basically just disabled. He was a disabled child ruling a nation because of inbreeding.
Keep it in the family, yo.
I mean...
So, and I was sitting here thinking, no, wait a second, hold on. Like, are they just trying to ruin
Nope.
my childhood?
Nope. A lot of those pharaohs inbred as fuck. But we...
It's like,
Make sure we keep it in the family.
I had
I don't want to be with my sister. Well, I don't know why I'm making them British, but
but Aaron,
that's totally how it went down, though.
but Aaron,
Oh,
as much as I would
royalty
love for us to
stuff.
keep going with the history, I think we've given the people enough backstory into the whole thing.
I'm still talking about a mummy. He's still a mummy.
No, I know, but we've given them enough history. We gotta go down to the modern.
So, okay. Going back to the modern and still staying on topic with King Tut, because they discovered him in the 30s, right?
Ooh,
That's when the Mummy movie came out, right?
Boris
The whole-
Karloff.
Boris Karloff Mummy movie, the whole being cursed and the mummy having abilities and not being able to die and this and that stems, I think, a lot from, in part, the discovery of King Tut's tomb and the curse that followed. People who took items, Hollywood stars that took items or bought items from King Tut's tomb, because back then they would sell that shit.
Still
would
do
become
technically,
ill.
but they don't do it on the news as much.
No, would become ill or sick or get in a car accident, or one mysteriously died. I forget how it was an embarrassing death, and I can't remember how he died, but it was not cool. So there, to stay on track but off track at the same time. Curse of King Tut.
I'm sorry, what?
Said the Curse of King Tut.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Something
what started-
was moving down here, so I tried to crush it. But yes, that is one of the major components. A lot of it stems from the King Tut's curse. Some of it comes from America's whole fascination with Egyptian mythology that would stem for the next several years to come. It all kind of goes full circle for events, but here's what grinds my gears a lot about how mummies are portrayed a lot from how they used to be portrayed into today, which is that they get the shit end of the stick out of any sort of thing of undead that ever has existed. Like, can you tell me in like the last 5 years of a good portrayal of something to do with mummies that isn't a mockery but praising something that's totally different, like they were resurrected from magic but weren't mummified, or they were zombified people that just happened to come back, or they're ghouls that happened to come back because they were infected with the blood because everyone thought they were dead, or they were Einherjar jars in this one young adult series but then came back to life stronger than ever after they were killed on a fucking bridge. For mummies, there's not a lot of love there. And if people try to point out that stupid mummy movie for the Dark Universe, I point you to my Nomadic Opinions video where I pointed out how fucked up that was. Bar none, Mummies have been getting shit on more and more in recent years, where the best part they ever got were the Brendan Fraser mummy movies, all the way up to that third abomination that we do not talk about.
The Scorpion King.
No, not the Scorpion King, the Dragon King. But that's beside the point.
Oh, that's not Brendan Fraser, though, is it?
No, he was in that.
Was he?
He was.
Shit, I gotta go back and watch my mummy movies.
Same. Yeah.
But those
definitely need to
were
do that, too.
the best.
Wait,
part-
is that the one with Jet Li? Jet Li's in that one, isn't
Yes.
he? Okay, I do remember parts of it.
Yes.
Ha, parts
But that
of it.
was the best that Hollywood or anything has given, anything revolving mummies in years.
Which, I need to, kind of defend this for a little bit. Because if you go back and watch those mummy movies now, if you're currently a millennial, you probably think that was dumb. At the time, those movies were really good.
No, I'm saying they're good, but I'm saying in recent years, for like the past 5 years, if you look at mummies.
You're right.
It's-
Well, I haven't seen the Tom Cruise mummy movie, so I don't know. But I've heard bad things.
It is honestly so bad, I had to actually watch The Room to erase my memory of it.
Really?
Oh dear.
I still haven't seen that movie. Anyways, I personally think mummies are one of the more powerful beings. I think if you had a class of monster, like if they were divided into subclasses, like god level and demigod level and blah blah blah, so on and so forth, I think vampires would be up there at god level, but they can be killed kind of relatively easy. We touched on that in one of the
We've touched on it
podcasts.
twice, actually. Part 3 coming out in season 4.
I think werewolves would be on that god level because
There's
Yes,
really a lot of weaknesses for werewolves in their beast form, but human form, God help.
well, as far as I know, there's only one weakness, and it's silver.
Silver bullets or silver swords to the gut.
And that kind of parallels the whole ancient. What was it? Is it Greek or Roman?
Greek.
That even gods can die, but they only have one weakness, and that's Hind's blood.
I thought
So-
it was something to do with either piercing through their Icarus blood or a symbol of their power. Yeah, I don't know.
Either way, I mean, I'd put them on a god level. Mummies, however, they don't. I mean, they really don't have a weakness unless you know magic.
Or you
how to
know
break-
how to read the
break
Book of the
curses.
Dead.
Yeah. So they have a weakness, but it's far, far, far less mundane than something like garlic, a common food, or even silver.
The man speaks truths.
So I would put, if there was a tier, I think that mummies would be on that. They're definitely on that god level, and if we had to separate them, I think vampires and werewolves are below them. Even though I think they should be either relatively close or even maybe on the same level. It's just the way that the vampires and werewolves can die seems much more readily available than what a mummy can do. You need a mystic to kill a mummy, basically.
You need a mystic, a librarian, or someone that knows everything like a fucking Egyptian weeb.
Yeah, it's so specific in order to kill a mummy that if you go back and watch the mummy movies, catastrophes would
It
unfold.
wardens respect, basically. But out of everything that we could ever cover, Aaron, I think this is the one that truly makes me want to grind my gears the most. Because I love mummies. I truly do. I love a lot of stuff with Egyptian mythology. It's one of my top 2 favorite mythologies. That and Japanese mythology, because, I don't know, something about the Japanese mythology always appealed to me.
Yeah, mine is Egypt and Vikings, Norse mythology.
I like Norse mythology. It's good.
Never change.
Good
and
shit.
This is why I love you. But the fact that everything involving at least mummies are concerned, and from how I still feel about gods of Egypt, kind of underplaying how good the Egyptian gods are, I'm furious. I want there to be better when it comes to mummies instead of just like a gag character here or there, or just a terrible movie here or there, or just passerby stuff of just like, hey, if you guys would do this small curse thing, it then brings this mummy to life. I'm tired of that. I want better.
Well, to be honest with you, V, I really think I know the new Mummy movie was crap. I know the whole Universal trying to reunite the monster movies genre has kind of flunked and failed, even though I think the Dracula movie was good.
The Dracula one was the perfect one to do it.
I agree. I loved that movie. Me and Jenny both loved that movie. I thought they told his story very well. It was done in a way
beautiful
to make Dracula look like the things he did he had to do, not
for
because
his
he was
wife
evil.
And his son.
Yes. It was a great story. However, I think Universal really went all in on this new Mummy movie.
They treated it like it was Batman v Superman and crammed way too much into it.
Well, they threw a lot of money at it, and they got some really great actors in Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe, and then
told
they must
too much too fast.
They must have skimped on the director, because I say, had they had that cast with somebody like Christopher Nolan, that movie would have done so much better.
I have yet to see it, but
Oh, I have yet to see it too. I'm just saying,
seen it.
I can guarantee you that the director wasn't Christopher Nolan. The director wasn't James Gunn. Even if they'd have gotten James Gunn to do it, I think it would have been better.
All I'm saying is, though, I want better from mummies in modern fiction.
And I agree. And that's basically where I was getting at, is they spend all this money on the cast and crew and not the director. You got to find the right director, right? And the right writers.
I'm sitting right here.
Well, give them your number, V. Tell
I'm
everyone.
not giving
Tell
Hollywood another chance. They already robbed me once. I'll make my own fucking movie. Go independent and shit.
Porn industry is rough. I know this, V. I know.
what you should do is make like a super good reboot of The Room. That way you can just erase what the horrible original The Room was, and then there's the V version.
No,
As much as I would, Tommy Wiseau deserves his fame, but that's another alien for another day.
yes, leave Franco in the closet.
But still, yeah, from all the stuff that you could cover with a mummy story, aside from curses, maybe do something like what Under Wraps did for the Disney Channel original movies. Just someone that came back looking to just have some fun.
Under Wraps?
Something
Was
like that for kids to be like,
V.
I want to have fun with these kids instead of like the stupid Monster High bullshit that they try to pedal off, just like, ooh, brats, but they're now monsters.
I like that Britt just called John and was like, V, come on now.
I did not hear that at all.
Come on
Like,
now.
yeah, get this under wraps.
No,
And I was like,
they already
the pun. Why?
they already had that V, and it was called My Boyfriend's Back, and he might not have been a mummy, but that's basically what that was. Anyways.
Or they could do something that applies to teens, like maybe someone was trying to email a friend that just happened to be on vacation somewhere that practices the mummification process. They haven't heard from him in a few years. Comes back, he's transitioning into a mummy, and it's a huge struggle for them. You can make an emotional story arc from that.
I am tired of the sarcasm and
I'm not being
satire
sarcastic.
and satire in this V.
I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being serious.
You cannot fix social issues with a monster movie.
Excuse you?
Transitioning into mummyhood. Come on, man.
Oh.
Or maybe bring back horror genre. Make it an actual horror movie monster on a
There you
grand
go.
scale that appeals to the stupid-ass morons of today instead of the subtlety and nuance that we grew up on.
That's a novel idea. Make it something more like, what's Insidious?
Yes.
You know, a cursed object, in this case it would be a cursed person, is coming back to haunt, maybe not a specific person, but like an entire group, an entire village, or an entire,
And pull like some stuff from It Follows, where it's just like he's slowly walking a little bit.
Right.
The more the
Even
curse
some of
goes
the
on,
classic-
he gets faster.
Even some of the classic lurker horror movies, like freaking Friday the 13th, where all the girls are running so fast, and Jason's just walking at a steady pace. you know.
Yeah, the mom
And,
just like,
oh my god! Oh, and they're going full speed, and she just trips, and Jason's like, "Oops, I'm right behind you." How the fuck does that happen?
and you
It's
could actually
magic,
make it
baby. Mummies are
actually-
magic.
Yeah, or just have it like, or just like the bandages are flying in the wind subtly, where like the camera pans out to make it seem like they're disintegrating and then rejuvenating themselves to a full-blown body to be around the kids. I don't know, something to make it.
John come back with the cape in the wind. I remember that was a big thing in Face Off because John Woo directed that, and that was like one of the jackets had to flail in the wind the right way. Anyways, maybe we should talk about actual mummies instead of why we're pissed off at mummies.
Okay, because I could be at this all day. So, first mummy people know, Imhotep. So many powers.
Yes.
Wait, who again? Sorry.
Imhotep.
Is the original
I-
mummy from the Brendan Fraser movies, but he's
And
also
the Boris
original
Karloff.
mummy. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And he was a real-life
see, I'm
mummy,
terrible
by
with
the way.
names.
Yes, and he was a real life person who was mummified, but he was not a pharaoh. Was he a pharaoh?
No. Well,
No,
one
he's
of
not
them
a pharaoh.
was.
He had to been something hierarchy, wouldn't he?
One of them was a high priestess, the other one was a pharaoh.
Hmm.
But we don't know which one was the inspiration.
An Egyptian chancellor to the pharaoh Djoser.
Sounds about right. But there was
They think
also a
he was-
pharaoh named Imhotep, but I don't think they remember him.
Yes, and then he was this, thought to be the architect of the pyramid, the step pyramid. Because we have the Grand Pyramid, the big Great Pharaoh's Pyramid,
Yeah.
and then the two pyramids beside, and then there's smaller ones that are step pyramids,
Yeah.
which are thought to be some of the first pyramids. So that's one of the Imhoteps are.
But in fiction, though, as a mummy, they gave him so many powers. Wind manipulation, sand manipulation, telepathy, resurrection, possession, multilingualism,
Famine.
famine, yes.
Basically,
Plague casting.
yes, plagues. So basically everything you saw in the Bible that Moses did to Pharaoh I'm sorry. Yes. Is
You're right.
what powers
Yeah.
Imhotep had.
Along with all the special stuff like super strength, invulnerability, invincibility, immortality, except for when people read from the Book of the Dead.
Which still didn't even kill him because he didn't technically die. He just
Nope.
went into a coma for a little bit until somebody else came along and resurrected him again.
Then there was astral projection. I think there was something to do with... No, he didn't use fire. Never mind.
No, I
Basically,
think
they gave him
fire.
a shit ton of powers, even stuff of water manipulation on top of that stuff. Even with like mystical channeling, he had a lot of fucking powers.
Basically, he was the Superman of the Egyptian universe.
Yeah.
You can't kill him. You can only scratch him, hurt him, and put him in a coma. You can't actually kill the guy. And even to this day, I don't think they actually ever killed him. Even in the
No.
movies or even in mythology, technically, this guy's still around somewhere.
No, because even after the movies ended, there was that cartoon television series where he did come back as a
Yeah.
canon resurrection the third time, where he was in between the land of the living and the land of the dead without a fleshy form.
He's basically Deadpool, but less funny.
So it went on
Which
for like a long
which-
time.
which puts him in a category, I think, above, because technically he can't die. I mean, in every other version you have, whether it be Dracula, the only way Dracula's resurrected is in the movies. He is not resurrected ever after,
He's only resurrected a lot of times in Castlevania, but that's because they need a video
Yeah.
game to sell.
Right. I mean, when it comes to actual mythology, the mummy, Imhotep, is,
Always.
as far as
comes
we
back.
know, invincible.
Then, aside from him, like I said, canonically, there's also Osiris, who's also a god. So he's a mummy, but he's also a god, which means he's already dead, so he can't die, and he has to live in the underworld, so he lives with the dead, but he's also alive.
Take that.
You guys,
Zombies.
you guys see how strange that kind of sounds in comparison to like, I come back, I eat brains. Oh hi, I'm Osiris. I've been alive since most of you guys were mere grains of sand in my slaves' huge dewy eyes as I tried to crush them with my bare feet.
Now, let's note quickly that the mummy's goals, because every monster has a goal, right? Dracula wants to seduce women, werewolves want to procreate, and mummies, they just want to rule the world.
They're just up and about it like hi, my name is Dave. You used to know me as Tutanterik, and I'm here to enslave you all.
Yeah. So
this guy's hilarious. No, I'm serious, about to enslave you all.
Out of all the monsters, the mummy actually has a goal, as opposed to the other monsters who aren't trying to rule the world. They're just trying to survive in it and kill as many people as they can as along the way. The mummy actually just wants to enslave everybody and create another empire. So they actually have a freaking end game.
You know what throws me off about mummies is the whole they don't have any organs or
nope.
You know, the so-called their brain. So how are they living? Is it magic? Is it
Yes, it's a curse.
Zombies make more
magic.
sense.
Two reasons that they actually exist, Britt. It's magic, but also the 5 categories of the soul.
Okay.
And that I'd have to go over with you guys a different date because I don't remember everything except for one piece of the 5 steps that I hold personally to myself about what makes up a soul, which is their Ren, their true name. There's your name born on Earth, given to you by whatever mother or father that's given birth to you, but there's also your true name that's been passed down to your soul since it first existed in the cosmos. That's one of the 5 pieces of the soul.
That, and they kind of touched on it in the original Mummy movie, not the original, the Brendan Fraser series. Imhotep comes back, if you remember, he's still wrapped up in bandages and looks like a monster. But he starts stealing organs from the people that he kills to get those organs back, to become whole again, to become a person. And then at the end of the movie, he's not wearing the bandages anymore. He actually looks human again because he's been stealing those organs. So that's kind of another aspect that they didn't touch on in the Boris Karloff series.
And that can be a category for certain ones that have to appear human-like if they want to blend in. They could do it without the organs and still be immortal if they wanted to. It kind of goes to a giant whatever spree with how you do mummy, since they don't have to have organs, they just want them.
I just thought that was kind of a cool touch that they added in the Brendan Fraser series.
Oh, I agree. It was a great touch. It's just that they honestly don't need it.
Right. Because it's kind of like, what is it? The Boo Saga on Dragon Ball Z, where he goes through all the transformations. He's actually going backwards in transformations in the Dragon Ball Z series. He starts out at the big fat Boo, but that's actually the weakest form of Majin Buu, because that's after he's absorbed. Is it the East Kai or the West Kai? I can't remember. Anyways,
West Kai.
The more organs, I like how they tied it to the more organs he got back, the more human he became, the more powerful he became. But the mummy in the raps is the weakest form, and he still can't die.
It's just like, I break your legs.
Right.
It's okay, it's merely a flesh wound.
He's not able to do his plague casting. He's not able to do his basically any of the magic spells, but he has like superhuman strength. He can kill you. He can eat you.
And
he can't die.
Invincible.
Yeah, he can't die. Let's not forget that. I mean, he can die, sort of, not really. He's already dead.
If you have the fucking Book of the Dead and can read it.
So yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, there aren't a lot of well-known mummies. I mean, there are some pop culture ones that popped up for like kids back in the day, but a lot of them don't really have real names, just made-up names. I mean, you could say King Tut, but not a lot of people use King Tut in pop culture for mummies a lot these days. So it's a very small... You see why it's a problem, people? Then again, I think like mummies are like the One Punch Man of monsters.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, I can believe that too.
like if a mummy would be like in a giant world, they'd be like Saitama being like, well, we've enslaved everything, but now I'm bored. You guys want to get some food? What food? We don't eat. We can't eat. We're immortal. I know, but I ate this guy's stomach and now I want churros. Churros. But that still just makes me feel like you could do so much more. Not do something like put mummies in Ben 10 and then turn into an alien.
Wait, hold up. Churros? Don't you mean gyros? Gyros? Whatever the... No, that's Greek. Never mind. I take it back. Terrible joke.
But aren't churros... Aren't they a delicious treat from south of the border?
I guess.
Yes.
I don't know, actually.
They're like straight donuts.
Straight donuts.
Yeah, they're like sugar sticks.
Sugar
I've
stick
never
donuts.
had one.
If you like cinnamon and sugar on bread,
Then you'd like
it's
a
not too
churro.
bad, I guess.
Then I'd like churros.
You gotta have a super like sweet tooth, I think. But
I do. It's very rare that I use it, but I have one.
But yeah, guys, as much as mummies are a great thing to talk about, they
really lack a story other than what we've just told you.
it makes me really pissed off. It grinds my gears to no end. And the only thing that's distracting me from this whole thing about why I should just grab everyone by Hollywood by the throat and be like, does V gotta choke a bitch? Is the fact that we still have this list of names!
Really? I told you, Christopher Nolan, he's the answer. Make him write a mummy movie.
We'll get to that, Aaron, but we gotta go back to this list of fucking apologies that we are only 1/3 of the way done.
Can I see that list? Can you just hand that to me quick?
Okay, here you go.
Okay, let me look at this. Who's on the list? Let's see here. There we go.
What the fuck did you just do?
Oh! I just lit the list on fire.
God.
I didn't mean to. It was an accident. My lighter fell out of my pocket. I grabbed it. I accidentally flipped the flint. Boom! There it goes.
Oh, thank God we are free.
And that's how you kill a list, people.
Finally, we are free. At least I wish I was saying that, except our lawyers figured this would happen, so they sent us a copy of the list.
Son of a bitch! V? Let me see that list.
I can't. It's laminated. They're too
you can never
smart.
escape it.
Okay, who's
All right,
next
who's
on
next
this
on the
godforsaken list? The makers of Daria.
What?
Oh man, I don't want to apologize to them because that's apparently who I am.
Janine Garofalo does not need to be apologized to.
Okay, moving
She's
on.
a very strong woman, and I respect her.
Yes. Next up, the makers of Beavis and Butthead.
The maker,
Oh, Mike Judge.
Mike Judge.
No, they wrote it here on the paper, makers.
They must.
Freaking typos.
Yeah. That's a typo. That's what that is.
Okay, next up, it's written in crayon.
It says Ryan Reynolds, I'm gonna be pissed.
No,
And this is laminated?
yeah, it's still laminated, but it was written in crayon. It's saying the CEO of Fox. What the fuck?
Which one? Apparently they just pop out of the woodwork after the one gets fired or reined in for sexual harassment or whatever.
I don't know. It just says in crayon CEO Fox. Like the E being backwards.
Oh my god.
Okay, next up. The cast
letter
of Mike
three.
and Molly. What? Who said anything about Mike and Molly? I don't think anyone's ever watched Mike and Molly except for me.
I've watched Mike and Molly, and I like it. I like King of Queens, too.
Oh, that's with no, wait.
Melissa
Yes.
Never
McCarthy.
mind. I'm thinking of Queens or something with
Yeah, that's-
Kevin
it's-
James.
Or
Or is that the same?
No, they're not the same, but they do. I do believe they did crossovers with those two
Ooh,
shows.
cameos. Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, cameos.
Okay.
But yeah, the cast of Mike and Molly. First of all, people, we have never talked about Mike and Molly on this fucking show. Second of all, why would we say anything about Mike and Molly? We have nothing to say about Mike and Molly. It was a show. That's it. And then underneath here, it's like the cast of Two Broke Girls. I'm not apologizing for that shit.
Hey, I liked that show.
No, I liked it too. All I said was, if I was single and Kat Dennings was available, I'd hit that.
I would have to, if I were cute enough, agree. That's horrible. That's horrible, though. See, this is why we had to apologize to the
I'm
Me Too.
not apologizing because
See?
Kat Dennings is
See?
attractive.
But she is a strong woman.
Strong woman and attractive. Next up, the Sam Raimi's cast for Spider-Man.
I loved those. I loved Sam Raimi's take on it.
No. It's for Phoenix.
Oh.
To apologize for the third movie.
Okay. I get it. Yep. So I totally see that one. Wait. Why did we stop talking about mummies?
Because we had this list.
Oh. Okay.
Next up,
Just for the record, I burned the first one.
I know. They still sent me this laminated one. Although they
I'll find
did
a
say
way to
if
destroy
we
it.
get up to the last 3 in this podcast and we can't apologize to at least 50 people, we're at least up to 43 people that we will actually apologize to. If we can get past and not apologize to 5 more people, we can never touch this list again.
I really don't think that, Britt's innocent in all this. She didn't have anything to do with this, so she shouldn't have to apologize.
I wasn't going to apologize anyway, but...
I figured as
But
much.
Aaron, listen, the lawyers did say if we can find 5 people that we can honestly say we will not apologize to in today's cast, we do not have to do this list ever fucking again.
All right, well then keep going. Who's next?
All right, next up, Jack Black.
But I like Jack Black, even if he does make corny movies. And is a little weird.
Moving on.
I'll apologize. I'm sorry, Jack Black.
I'm sorry that I watched School of Rock 100
Aww. Aww.
Next up, the cast of Drake and Josh.
I feel bad for Drake.
Aaron.
He's so poor right now.
Aaron,
Didn't even get invited to his friend's wedding.
I'm begging
He's a
you.
Viner now. Or I guess Vines don't really exist anymore, but still, kind of sad.
Aaron,
Wait,
Yeah.
I think
begging
him
you.
and those guys were supposed to, they were supposed to make a show together or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
they were supposed to be real life best friends, and Josh got all rich and skinny and was all like, "Fuck you, Drake, I'm the popular boy now."
But they made
And
up now. They're good.
Drake's all
Guys,
They were like, "Oh, it was a small gathering," and I was like, "And your friend wasn't a part of that small gathering?" Like,
Right.
wow, all right.
We're not making this any
It's like
better, are we, V?
No, I'm trying to say.
We have to make a second
Now we just
apology
gotta
list.
make sure 3 things, just 3, okay, just 3.
I apologize to Drake, though. Oh, wait, we're not supposed to. Okay, yes, keep going. Got it.
Okay, next up, the cast of Degrassi. They didn't say which one. They just said Degrassi.
I honestly can't. I don't watch the show. How could? When have we ever brought it up? I am not
Sally
apologizing
brought
for
it
that
up.
one. I'm not apologizing. Nope, not doing it.
Okay. Next up, for some odd reason, I do not know how this got on the list. We have to apologize to cancer. The actual medical
Wait, that-
disease.
Oh,
Cancer.
Fuck.
that was going to be the
How the
astrology
hell
sign.
do we apologize to a disease?
Fuck cancer.
How
That's what I have
do
to
you
say.
apologize to a disease is my question.
You know how V, you take a big hit off of a large joint and you let that shit soak in. That is right. Just like that. And then the cancer's all like, "Oh my god, you know what? This place is inhabitable. I'm going away now. That's what happens.
I know how we're going to apologize to Cancer. I'm sorry, Cancer, that you suck and that no one likes you.
And that you
We all
exist.
hope you die. Yeah, that you exist.
That's not an apology, and I love it.
Next, he's gonna say. Next person on the list is gonna be Adolf Hitler. We have to apologize to him.
No, not
No.
Hitler.
Mussolini.
No.
Sorry,
Remember
that was.
during one list where they tried to make us apologize to President Aaron?
Which president?
They're
Oh,
trying
shit.
again.
Sorry, did you hear that?
I did, but I'm just like they're trying to make us apologize to the president right now.
Which president? Sorry,
The current president.
current president.
I
As
really
long
do
as
apologize to him.
as long as he apologizes for everything he has said up until this point.
That will never happen. And you
Yeah,
know
he's
that.
got to apologize first.
Exactly. That's my point.
Okay, so I think we've already got 3 down. Can we do 2 more before this whole thing ends?
Sure. Let's. Who's next?
Okay,
Yeah,
Mel
next.
Gibson.
I love Mel Gibson. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I know he went through a freaking rough patch and he was anti-Semitic and all of that shit and evil person.
You're not helping,
I-
Aaron.
I can't help. I am apologizing. I'm apologizing to Mel Gibson because I want to give him a second chance. I love his freaking movies.
No, we're apologizing to
great actor.
him, not him apologizing to us.
I know. I apologize. I apologize to Mel Gibson.
What?
I'm sorry.
I still
Okay.
don't know if I can.
I'll give you a
But-
second chance.
Okay.
But that's all you get. It's a second chance.
Next up. Apparently, we have to apologize to the makers of the Tickle Me Elmo toys.
I'm sorry for stripping it and watching meme videos of what they look like without their fur. It's too entertaining. I can't help it.
Again,
Wow.
Britt, that's not an apology, and I love it.
Oh, I don't know how to apologize. Okay, I'm sorry.
You know, for all of the fun that I got out of tormenting my nieces and nephews with that damn thing,
Aaron,
and the
please,
dirty and
please
the, and
don't.
and the dirty jokes that came along with it.
Please don't, Aaron.
I mean, come on, tickle
Please-
me Elmo, and you
Please don't,
his,
Aaron, please.
tickle his balls, and he just shakes and fucking laughs.
Please don't, Aaron. Please don't say what I think you're going to say.
I won't apologize. I'm sorry.
Okay, 4.
I apologize
more.
to myself for not apologizing.
Okay, one more. All right. Guys, last one, and hopefully we don't apologize ever again.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Steve Buscemi.
Oh, come on. I apologize to Steve I love Steve Buscemi. He volunteered in 9/11, V. How can you not? How can you not apologize for him?
Okay.
man's
Next
a
person
firefighter.
on the list. Next person on the
It
list.
looks like a pug.
Next person. Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, come on now. I'm gonna leave this one in your hands, V.
I'm not apologizing because he's making a Charles Manson movie right now.
Oh,
What?
but come on now. But Charles Manson's dead. It's not like he can profit off of it. He has no living relatives.
He does. He still has 3 kids,
Well,
a
any that
wife,
are current.
and several people from the Manson family still alive.
Yeah, the Manson family, but they aren't subsidiaries of him.
His kids still are.
Well, yeah, but are they fucked up?
Yes, they're Charles
they really?
Manson's kids.
Well, I understand they're Charles Manson's kids, but
They
just
were
because
raised in the compound of the Manson family.
Jenny is yapping at me through the headphones back here, the same things you're saying, and it's like, what is that freaking game where you put on the headphones and it
Stereo.
repeats what you're saying in your head and you can't talk?
I know what game you're talking about. I just don't know
You know
what it's called either.
But I'm not apologizing.
Why? But why? What's the premise?
The premise is the La Bianca murders, as well as the Karen Tate murders of the movie in graphic detail.
But what if none of the Manson family is getting any of that money?
Dun, dun, dun.
If the Manson family isn't getting any money, then next person on the list.
Because
I hate you
now
so
think about
much
this.
right now, Aaron.
Think about it. Well, how many people over the years tried to marry Charles Manson in prison?
17 people and 1 succeeded.
Yes, but he didn't sign over rights to his story. That was the thing. He knew that shit would be worth money, and he wasn't giving it to anybody.
Do you want us to go down this list forever, Aaron?
Oh, it's Quentin Tarantino, and he makes such great and horrible movies sometimes.
Okay. Next person on the list, Roman Polanski.
Okay, yeah, we don't have to apologize to him.
Thank God we are free!
I don't need to apologize to a pedophile. It's okay.
We are finally free! And you know what? Since we're free, guys, I can finally tell you on a podcast, my family already knows this, I'm getting married.
Woo! Congratulations, V.
Yes, we're doing this on the Mummy Cast, and we're leading into the season finale, where, guys, special announcement will be coming out during that one, where we're going to have an actual ending in that episode. Not in this one. We've never had an ending before.
I don't know, I thought we were going the route of the ending the way you started talking about the list. I was getting nervous, V.
No. I just want to get this off the case so that Dennis finally stopped knocking on our door saying, hey guys, gonna be doing that apology list in this podcast. While you guys are just enjoying your complimentary baskets like I saw you, Aaron, get a bunch of phone numbers and roses from your fans.
What?
And you, Britt, I saw you with a bunch wait, was that ice cream sundaes or pizza boxes?
Ice cream. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
You son of a bitch! Oh, you guys had to deal with that. I had to deal with Dennis with that whole thing. So you guys gonna be doing the apology list in this one because we got a lot of people pissed off at us this whole entire first 2 seasons, and oh boy.
Hey, it's okay. I didn't even know we had lawyers until season 2.
They came halfway through. You were there at the meeting.
I know. Well, I was there, but I wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they came in just like, hey guys, we know that you're doing some stuff here, but we gotta make sure you don't do any more crazy ass antics. And I was like, crazy ass how? Well, first you gotta make sure that the wife only comes when it's time to do something for charity. And like, fuck no, we're not doing that.
That sounds dirty, in my opinion.
That's what
That's
you said
the
at the
only
meeting
time
too.
that the wife is coming.
That's what he said at the meeting too. And then they're just like, okay, then can you guys stop swearing? No. Can you guys stop doing dirty jokes? No.
I believe
There's just no middle ground.
No.
No, so then they're just
This
we're
is
gonna
our
issue you
podcast.
an apology list every single time if you offend somebody.
Well, let the offense begin. Your
Right
show
up
is
on
an
the apology
abomination.
list.
Hey, that is the best compliment I've gotten all day.
Like every 5 to 10 episodes, they'd be sending me invoices saying, "We offended Mr. T. We offended the family of Adolf Hitler. We offended Patrick Stewart." And I'm like, how do we offend Patrick Stewart? You said bald men were sexy, but didn't say who was sexy. We're like, bitch!
Jason Statham, he's sexy. Or is he one of those that was sexy?
I don't fucking know, Aaron. The only thing I'm worried about right now is the fact that we had to go through 2 lists. We're on our 2nd season, strip all the way to the finale, where the finale's coming up in like maybe 1-2 episodes.
That's because I burned the first list, right?
Yes.
Oh.
And we
Sorry.
still need to get everybody in one recording together.
Yeah, well, yes, we do have to do that. That's going to be a feat. We're going to have so many voices.
We even gotta get Jenny back in here, but Miss Bubblebutt over there is all the time busy.
She's addicted to No Man's Sky. Shameless plug.
Like Like the day she
Oh.
finally comes back to the podcast is when every fanboy is gonna come out of the woodworks like they did for the Talking Dick podcast, which is coming back next week, by the way.
Whoop. You ready, Jenny? Talking Dick Pod.
Got money on my mind every day. Please don't play with mine, put it in the bag. Usually I can leave it in the past. You gon' make me have to show my ass. Ooh, I can love you till the sun comes up. Let me love your body down. You don't even really gotta ask. I'ma love you better than the rest. Got me like, ooh, say something, say something, say